Hi everyone, I'm Vidal Mendez, your student engagement assistant here for the MSA program at Georgia Tech. Welcome back to MSA Alumni Spotlight, and this is episode 3. Today I have Eric O'Connor. All right, Eric, if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. I grew up in the Chicago area. I went to undergrad at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and then I served as an officer in the United States Army for about 10 years before the Army granted me the opportunity to go to grad school. I was given the option to choose wherever I wanted to go, and I applied to Georgia Tech because I knew they had one of the best programs in the country. I graduated from the MSA program in 2019, and ever since I've been stationed in the Northern Virginia area, right outside Washington, D.C.
All right, starting off with our first question, Eric, can you share where you're currently based and what is your role as an operations research analyst for the U.S. Army?
Yes, I'm currently based in Northern Virginia, right outside Washington, D.C., and I support the Pentagon. Operations research analysts provide quantitative analysis for the Army and Army senior leaders to help make better data informed decisions, whether that is through mathematical modeling, statistical analysis, simulation, optimization, basically anything that will apply a quantitative lens to a military problem.
Awesome, that's pretty insightful. Moving on to the second question, how do you leverage analytics and data science in your day-to-day work with the Army?
In previous assignments, I've done a lot of exploratory data analysis and pattern recognition to provide courses of action for senior leaders to make data driven decisions. In my current job, it's not so much analytics focused, although it is related. My current job, I support a team that experiments with new command and control technologies across different organizations in the military. We provide these tools for use, we obtain feedback, see what needs refining, then take them back, refine them, improve them based on user feedback, and then go out and experiment again with the goal of eventually fielding these capabilities full time.
Awesome, that sounds pretty cool. All right. In regards to data, what do you find most rewarding about working with data, specifically in your role? And is there any particular aspect that you really find meaningful?
I would say the most rewarding part of working with data as an operations research analyst in the Army is there are lots of problems and challenges that are ripe for analytic insight, whether it's trying to help inform senior leaders on the way to make decisions for how to position troops across the world, informing when it comes to the cost of certain programs or budgetary decisions that will impact the Army in the future. Really, this is impactful because it's interesting work, and also because it has an impact on future soldiers and decisions for years to come. I mean, that's why I like it so much.
All right. Moving on to the next question, what advice would you give current students or professionals looking to enter data analytics roles, particularly within government or defense?
There are data analytic roles outside of the uniform military, like I do as an Army operations research analyst. There are quite a few operations research analysts that are non-military government civilians. I work day to day with those people. There are also federally funded research and development centers and university affiliated research centers that have similar roles, and I've worked with those people as well. And there are also a number of defense contractors that I work with on a day-to-day basis, and those people have very similar skills in either operations research or data analytics.
And moving on to our last and final question, which skill, course, or project from the MSA program has been most valuable in your career growth, and how did it prepare you for your current role?
I think I'd like to highlight two courses that in hindsight, I look back to time and time again. ISYE 6501, the Introduction to Analytics Modeling, and CSE 6242, Data and Visual Analytics course. For the Intro to Analytics Modeling, that course, because it focused more on how to apply different methods across problem sets. And that's something that comes up again and again. You have a certain data set, what type of techniques would be valuable in obtaining insight from those data sets. And the 6242 data and visual analytics course, because it was such a heavy workload. However, having each assignment, we had to learn new techniques, new programming languages, new ways to apply to data problems. is valuable, because that's the way it's worked in my career since then. Is oftentimes I have to learn something that I have no background in. I have to learn about the data. I have to learn about a new technique or programming language, apply it quickly, and make something of it without any context or background in that particular area.
Okay, awesome, Eric. Thank you so much. And that wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much, Eric, for joining us here today for our third episode of MSA Alumni Spotlight. We really appreciate having you today. It's been an honor.
Thanks for the opportunity.